All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another damn fuel economy test with an A45S, which is, by the way, the strongest four-cylinder inline engine for a road legal car that was ever produced. It is really fast, but it's also very expensive, and you should really ask yourself the question, should you get this or a C63 instead? Let's find out. All right, let me show you what we're working with. This is the typical hatchback look, right? But a little bit more AMG fight. Let's call it that way, because they really made it look like a proper sporty car, right? 4 exhaust pipes, beautiful wheels. It's a hatchback from the back. It doesn't look too aggressive from the back. The side looks pretty nice, hatchback style, right? And then in the front, it has this aggressive front that is also sharing with the A45S. Now, they're not building this anymore, but in all honesty, it was really something interesting, and I'll show you why. Because when we pop the hood, well, which is, by the way, a little bit complicated here, come on. You can see it's a 4-cylinder engine saying handcrafted by somebody, Lucas Goethe. Are you a relative of the famous Goethe? And you can see big turbocharger, inline 4-cylinder, 421 horsepower, 500 newton meters of torque. Able to accelerate this thing from 0 to 100 in 3.9 seconds, man. And, you know, that's what people claim. Hatchback should be reliable, shouldn't use a lot of fuel. But I'm not really sure with this one, to be honest, because they claim 8.5 to 9 liters of fuel consumption. Just as always, it's time to do the test. Go to reset everything. Come on, reset. Yes, please. Okay. That's done. Perfect. Now we can fill it up and take it for a ride. I don't know why exactly, but to me it feels a little bit weird when the fuel tank is on the left side. Probably because all of my cars are on the right side and all the other AMGs are on the right side, but here it's strangely on the left side. Now, I filled the car up yesterday. I drove for a little bit, so let's see how much is going in. 98. Of course, you have to put in 98 with those cars. You can't do mistakes because it's really pushed to performance. They're pushing 2.2 bar into this little thing, so watch out. Okay, 7.74 liters went in. First click. Can you release it? What the hell is going on? Come on. This must have been the weirdest start to a fuel economy challenge I ever had, man. First, I got to the Tesla charging station. I saw a Tesla couple coming up, getting out of the car, arguing like the guy looked dead. In all honesty, he looked like Ben Affleck with J-Lo. He was devastated, man. And I thought, my God, I feel sorry for you, man. Then I do my intro and all of a sudden I hear bird noises. Some guys are standing next to each other and doing bird noises. And I thought, what the fuck is going on? A couple of minutes later, I go to the petrol station, try to fill this thing up. And all of a sudden I see a mother holding the pee-pee of her child, right? Right on the road. I mean, it's a petrol station. You could go to the toilet. Like, there's 500 toilets, man. What point do you have to do that? She's eating in one hand, holding the wheelie of her child in the other hand, and the little guy is pissing on the road. Like, this makes me feel uncomfortable. Why do I have to witness this shit? In all honesty, man. Like, don't you feel ashamed? Anyway, let's talk about today's strategy. So the car is 8 gears. And we're going to put it in 8th gear as soon as possible. Okay, that's the challenge. It will drive under 2000 RPMs, and that's what we're going to do. Drive behind trucks, drive on the road 110, 120 kph, average speed at around 95, like always 100, obviously because of traffic jams. Yeah, let's see how this goes. It wouldn't be a normal fuel economy challenge if there wasn't a traffic jam, right? As always, there's a traffic jam blocking me of achieving the best results. But hey, this is the real life scenario. And we have this fancy design here. What should I use? This maybe? Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that one. Let's go to the other one. This I like the most, but this is also not bad. Yeah. Playing a little bit with those buttons. It's quite promising, in all honesty. It doesn't look bad. We are now driving for 35 kilometers. It was a little bit of a traffic jam, but the car is saying 6.8 liters. 6.9 right now. Hopefully I can get under that, but that itself would be a very good number. In comparison, the S3 had a 6.2 liters to 100 kilometers. This is at 6.9 and has 100 horsepower more. So I'm very curious to find out. Now, one thing that I will say about the A45S, I know some of you don't want to hear this, but this is actually a very, very good car. It's very fast, it's handling brutal and beautiful. It's really a nice car to sit in. The only thing is, I don't feel very comfortable sitting inside this car because I'm a little too big for it, okay? I feel like my knees are always touching like this plastic panel here. After a while it starts hurting, and I also, it's a little too small for me. But if you want an AMG and you want something fast and you don't want to be scared of driving fast, this is actually a good car to go. 421 horsepower, man. I don't know how those engines will hold up like at 200,000 kilometers, but it feels solid to me right now. And it's a very fast car. Comparing it to the C63, which is the next class, like the upper class, this is 4 seconds slower on the Nürburgring. And it's probably because of the 80 horsepower it's missing. So it's really a fast little machine. It really is a fast little machine. I'm telling you, it's really, really fast. I will mention one very negative thing about the A45S, and it's the quality in here. I mean, it looks all fancy and nice, but it really is, it's not good, man. Plastic everywhere, everything is kind of quirky, you know, everything you touch makes a noise. It's really not that nice, it really isn't. And then considering the initial asking price of around 110,000, it's absolutely insane. That asking price is insane, in all honesty. I mean, you can buy a C63S for that money. And then when you think of it, the C63S is really the better car overall, right? Obviously, we will find out if it's better in fuel economy, but this is just not worth 120K. Now, I will tell you one thing about the A45S. While it is a fantastic driving car, if you really want to push it hard on a mountain road and really need that experience of driving fast and feeling safe while doing that, this is a very good car. In terms of day-to-day drive, I'm really not a fan of it. I can tell you plain and forward, this feels very harsh. It's hard. The suspension is very firm. You can feel literally everything the road is doing. I can tell this is a little bit of a hard tarmac here, a harsh surface of the tarmac, because I feel it through the seat. It's really not a comfortable car. It's not a comfortable car to be in. In all honesty, I don't think I would choose this ever over a C63. I would much rather have that mighty feeling in a C63 with a V8. But I get that a lot of people, you know, you have other expenses like tax money and so on, like insurance and payments you have to do to the city because you're driving a V8, which is too expensive. I can get you choosing one of these cars instead of a C63, but then again, I come to think of, somebody actually paid like 100K for this, and I don't understand why. I can't comprehend somebody paying that much money for a car like this. I really don't understand. There's no way, no shape or form on earth that would make me understand this price for an A45S. Never, really. And I really mean it. It's just too much. But anyway, let's see what we're doing in fuel economy. All right, friends, we are arriving at the petrol station. 97 kilometers of drive. By the time we are at the petrol station, it's going to be around 100, I hope so. So the gauge says 7.4 liters, 88 kph as an average speed. So that's not that bad, in all honesty. It's not bad, but it's also not that good. Now, considering that this car has 420 horsepower, we can't really argue with that. But then again, if we look at other cars that we have done, for example, the M2 competition, which I like to take as a reference because I was so surprised, it was actually at 5.5 liters, okay? So, yeah, I mean, while this is good and all, and it's a great driver's car, you still have to consider maybe other options. So let's see what it actually did. Okay, we have arrived. 98 kilometers of drive. I'm very curious to find out what it actually did. A little bit more forward and stop here. Moment of truth, friends. The moment of truth. We're putting in 98. Let's see. Come on. What the fuck? What the fuck? 7.8 liters. It actually used more than it said it would do. Especially we have been driving for 98 kilometers. We haven't been driving for 100, which means it should have used like 7.2 liters. But we end up using 7.8. What can I tell you? I knew it. I knew this is going to happen. I really knew it. I could tell. I could tell that this will happen. I don't know why. I just had a feeling inside myself that this will happen with the A45S. I knew it. And in all honesty, just go and buy the C63 instead. Just buy it. It will use 2 liters more fuel, but who the hell cares, man? In all honesty, I mean, they're not building this anymore, okay? Just go ahead and buy a C63 instead. Do it. Do it. Now the conclusion is very simple. Buy a C63 instead. It's the same as always, you know? Don't save at the wrong place if you can afford it, okay? If it's just about a couple of hundreds, just buy the C63 instead. Because although this is a very good driver's car, it's never going to beat a V8. But what I will show you though is that this might have the best 4-cylinder sounds I've ever experienced. And I really mean it, because it's really, it's very loud and it's very fast. Yeah, that's very good, man. That's can't argue with that, right? It's really good. And the turbo sound is also pretty nice, that turbo whistle. But maybe we can do a launch control start somewhere quickly. Let's see. You know, always that complicated. Put it in track mode, ESP, whatever, off. And this hooks off really hard. Pow! And that was it. Yeah, I can't really argue with that. I mean, it accelerates really good. It's crazy. It's crazy how it accelerates. It's actually accelerating better than the C63. It really does. You know, if 4-cylinders would always be like that, I can agree to that. It's actually very loud, very aggressive little car. It's a good car. It's a good car. But this was the fuel economy test, and in terms of drivability every day, it's not really the best one. But if you want a fast hatchback, I think this takes the lead. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you, and see you on the next one. Goodbye.